这都不走啊？
跟你说呀。
tự xử đi, tự làm tự xử đi.
Couple wet wipes, case a bum try to touch me. Ew. I'm the Terminator. Bitch talk slick.
Pissed all over my shoe. Oh, you little bastard!
Oh, there we go, there we go.
Oh. 小毛说可带入实际了。
你的四姐要你。
Well, I've got my rod and I've got my bait. All I've got to do is sit here and wait for the big, big fish to come my way, even if it's gonna take all day.
哎，猫去哪儿了？哎呀，我要是不查归人，早就被你撞飞了。
你干嘛？
叔叔，咦，你是一滩笑叔叔。等，一滩的书是一滩的书。再看一看。
はじみはじみはじみをなめるとアシカアシカ
Вечерний причесон.
我给你拿，别拿。
Dear my beloved audiences, today I want to tell you a story which was called A Thirst for Hope. The small apartment smelled faintly of stale beer and cigarette smoke. Empty bottles lined the counter like forgotten soldiers after battle. In the corner, a scruffy black and white mutt named Lucky lay curled up, his eyes watching his owner with quiet worry. His tail thumped gently whenever Jack stirred, but Jack rarely noticed. Most evenings ended the same way. Jack slumped on the couch, a half-finished bottle in his hand, the television flickering with noise he barely heard. Jack hadn't always been this way. Before alcohol consumed him, he was a kind man, full of laughter and warmth. He had rescued Lucky from a shelter 3 years earlier, promising the trembling puppy a better life. For a while, they had enjoyed long walks, playful afternoons at the park, and quiet evenings where Lucky's head rested on Jack's lap. But life's pressures, the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, the weight of loneliness, had driven Jack into the bottle. Slowly, the man who had once saved Lucky now needed saving himself. Lucky did what dogs do best. He stayed. When Jack stumbled through the door late at night, Lucky was there to greet him with a wagging tail. When Jack collapsed in a bed without eating, Lucky curled beside him, a silent guardian through the night. On mornings when Jack awoke with guilt heavy in his chest, Lucky's eyes reminded him that he was still loved, no matter how far he had fallen. One particularly bleak evening, Jack sat in the dark, staring at the half-empty bottle in his hand. His reflection glimmered faintly in the glass, a hollow version of himself. Lucky patted over, resting his chin on Jack's knee. For a moment, Jack's hardened expression softened. "You deserve better than this," he muttered, voice thick with shame. Lucky thumped his tail, as if to disagree, as if to say, "I want nothing more than you." It was a small crack in the wall Jack had built around himself. Weeks later, after a heavy night of drinking, Jack collapsed on the bathroom floor. He might have stayed there until morning, but Lucky pawed and whined relentlessly until Jack's neighbor came to check. Embarrassed, but shaken, Jack realized he had come dangerously close to drinking himself into real harm. That night, he lay in bed, Lucky pressed against him, and he whispered, "I don't want to die like this." The next day, Jack poured the remaining bottles down the sink. It wasn't easy. His body ached, his mind screamed for relief, and the urge to give up returned daily. But every time he faltered, Lucky was there, nudging him out of bed for a walk, licking his hands when they trembled, curling against him when the cravings grew unbearable. Lucky became Jack's anchor, giving him routine and responsibility. Jack began to realize that sobriety wasn't just for himself. It was for the loyal companion who refused to give up on him. Slowly, Jack rebuilt his life. He found part-time work, then steadier employment. He joined a support group where he admitted, trembling, that his dog had been the reason he'd walked through the door. "He kept me alive when I didn't care if I lived," Jack confessed. The group nodded, some with tears in their eyes, understanding that hope often arrives in unexpected forms. Over time, the apartment changed. The smell of alcohol faded, replaced by the scent of coffee and home-cooked meals. The counters were cleared of bottles, replaced with plants and framed photos, many of them of Lucky. Jack and Lucky returned to the park, where Lucky bounded joyfully through the grass, and Jack laughed, a sound that felt new and yet deeply familiar. Though Jack's journey was not perfect, there were relapses, moments of weakness, nights when the cravings threatened to pull him back. He never faced them alone. Lucky's quiet eyes reminded him of the promise he had made, to fight, to live, to stay. Years later, Jack would look back on that dark chapter with a mix of shame and gratitude. He knew the road to recovery was long and uncertain, but he also knew he would never have taken the first step without Lucky. The little dog he had once rescued had, in truth, rescued him in return. And so, in the quiet moments, when Jack sat on the couch with Lucky's head resting on his lap, he would whisper, "Thank you." Lucky's tail would wag, his eyes full of the unconditional love that had carried them both through the storm. Because sometimes salvation doesn't come in the form of grand miracles, but in the steady heartbeat of a dog who refuses to let go. Jack's story with Lucky is a reminder that even in our darkest battles, love and responsibility can become powerful motivators for change. In real life, many people struggle with addiction, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or even destructive habits tied to stress and modern living. Often, those caught in the cycle feel hopeless and isolated, believing they have no reason to change. Yet, as Jack discovered through Lucky, sometimes the presence of someone who depends on us, a pet, a child, a friend, can awaken the courage to fight for a better life. This teaches us that healing is rarely a solo journey. It is often fueled by connection and accountability. In today's fast-paced world, where loneliness and escapism are common, the advice is clear. Find anchors that remind you why life is worth living. These anchors may be loved ones, passions, or even small responsibilities that keep you grounded. At the same time, be willing to seek help and accept support, because recovery is not about perfection but persistence. Like Jack, we must understand that setbacks do not erase progress. With love, patience, and determination, even the heaviest chains of addiction can be broken, one step at a time. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It'll really help our channel grow. But if you don't like it, then skip it, and don't forget to check out our other videos. We love you and goodbye.